Perhaps if I can just first of all say this is a long way coming. I mean, in 2023 and many years before that, but particularly in 2023, we have approached all government authorities and have asked them to cancel certain tenders and to re-advertise them because of the size of contracts or projects which could have been divided up into smaller lots, and also because of the qualification criteria such as financial and technical. Some of the technical criteria were arbitrary, the financial criteria were far too high for local contractors, considering also that the criteria were turnover, previous turnover and cash flow, and which of course have been badly affected due to the recession in recent years. But and we have also asked NamWater at the time that the projects that they were running or were intending to run and had advertised needed to be re-advertised to take into consideration that point in particular. But in our view, NamWater currently undermines local contractors through really procurement practices that, in our opinion, had failed to select contractors properly. And, this leads to really a misalignment between project scopes and contractor capacities, resulting in poor project outcomes attributed unjustly to local contractors. I mean, NamWater argues that requiring foreign main contractors to subcontract local firms actually supports local contractors, but really this approach is insufficient. I mean, you would find that the bulk of financial benefits will still flow out of our country, which undercuts the development and capacity building of the local construction industry. And really, it's not good for our economy at large.
Now, how many local companies were sidelined, and what are NamPower's reasons for sidelining local contractors in favor of foreign companies?
It is not really possible to give a number, but it's, we have unrealistically high requirements, as I said earlier, in terms of the technical requirements as well as the financial requirements. And if, as a contractor, you get your documents prior to tendering, you see what the financial requirements are, you really won't bid. So a lot of contractors will not even participate due to the financial qualifications mostly. But really, the issue is really so important for us, the Construction Industries Federation of Namibia, that we felt that we needed to address it already in 2023 and continue to do so. I mean, our local contractors are not having their fair share, and having them as subcontractors is really not sufficient for us. NamWater cites poor workmanship and project abandonment as reasons for favoring foreign contractors. However, these reasons really are a result of procurement practices that do not match, project demands with the real capabilities of local contractors, which leads them to unfair generalization and tarnishing of all local contractors. I mean, if you have a situation, if you say, we read in the newspapers that we engage foreign contractors because local contractors do not deliver, that it's basically poor workmanship and abandonment of projects, that is a huge generalization, and it's really not acceptable if you consider that we have really a huge spectrum of contractors, from the smallest to very large civil and building contractors and mid-sized contractors, then clearly saying that our local contractors are not sufficient and therefore we have to engage foreign contractors is really unacceptable.
Now, how does such actions then contravene the national objectives of promoting local entrepreneurship and job creation?
If entities, in this case like NamWater, basically favor foreign contractors as they have explicitly said so, except for the subcontracting part, then their actions, in actual sense, contravene national objectives by stifling local entrepreneurship and job creation. This approach not only limits opportunities for local economic development, but it also fails to align with our government's directives to basically support entrepreneurship and, in a sense, enhance local content. When significant project funding leaves the country, it diminishes the potential economic impact that could be generated through local business growth and job creation. I mean, it's kind of contradictory that we say, well, we need to have more entrepreneurship, we need to get more people employed, we need to support our local businesses on the one side, and then on the other side is we're giving the jobs to foreign companies when we do have the local capacities. But the selection process needs to be right. If we choose a company that cannot do the project because they're too small for the size of project, then it's kind of logical that it might lead to a poor outcome. But the selection process is very important, and to be saying that our local contractors do not have the capacity is simply not true. Some, if you link them with the project size, then that is not aligned with the capacity, then one can anticipate such outcomes.
Now, for some time, the construction industries, you have been advocating for the establishment of a construction council aimed at enhancing the regulatory framework to ensure quality workmanship and timely project completion. What seems to be the stumbling block behind this establishment?
Yes, we have been basically looking for and advocating for, lobbying for the establishment of a construction council since 2006. And yes, it will help. It will help to ensure quality workmanship, and part of which is, timely project completion. And because every single contractor would have to be registered with the council, irrespective of their size, and you would then also know the exact capacities of the contractors, so they can be appropriately linked to the project. So you link size of contractor with size of project. And at the same time, knowing what the exact capacity is, you can also scale projects accordingly. But the problem really is that, it still hasn't been established. Since 2006 we have been lobbying, and it's very difficult to say, but one can possibly think it's as a result of bureaucratic inertia. It's just not getting done. It has already been with the cabinet, then it was also with the cabinet committee for legislation, but it still hasn't found its way to parliament. And it's an important piece of document, the bill, and it would make such an enormous difference in our country to have a construction council. It would save our taxpayers' monies, and it will ensure the projects are being completed, because there are consequences if these are not completed. But other reasons might be really also conflict of interest among stakeholders. One can possibly also assume that there is some resistance from those who might be benefiting from less stringent regulations as well. But despite these challenges, the CIF, the Construction Industries Federation, really remains committed to be pushing for a council to ensure fair practices and improved project outcomes by properly aligning the project's demands with local contractor capabilities. It is so important that we have a construction council in place. And in the absence of a council, then it's really important that any buyer of construction or building services would look at engaging a member of the Construction Industries Federation, because they have to adhere to our code of conduct. If they're not a member of the CIF and there is no construction council, who monitors the performance of the contractors? How are you certain that they can actually deliver? The CIF has also a form of categorization of the contractors, so we are vetting them also. So we actually also encourage all the authorities that are procuring services to work with us, and maybe they should start looking at CIF membership certification, or at the very least engage us to help.